7 days is not all it takes to redesign your life. It also requires commitment. I will get my life together is a thought that I will often get late at night, and I will make a half-baked plan for the next day, but it will be the same. Lazy, unproductive, and regardless of my potential, leading myself towards a life full of regrets. But thankfully, I took control of my life. I got into an IIT, did an internship at Microsoft, landed a job at an international company, built myself a decent physique while also growing my channel to 150k plus subscribers. Now, I'm not saying that I've won everything in life, I just don't have the regret of not working hard. Because 16-year-old Sanko will be fucking proud to see this guy today. Now, as I said, changing your life requires commitment, years of it, but 80% of you guys are not going to even commit to this 10-minute video. So the bar is set very, very low. And if the idea of a mediocre life scares you as well, I'm going to share with you the 7-step plan that I follow to get my life back on track anytime that I'm off track or I'm feeling lost or I'm feeling demotivated. On the very first day, I take time to declutter my space and move unnecessary things from my table, because I have always treated my workspace as my mandir, as my spiritual ground. And it is also scientifically backed that the clearer your space is, the clearer your thoughts are, and it is easier to focus on your work. That is why once a week I will declutter everything, and once a month I will deep clean all of my workspace, my cameras, my equipments, and everything else that helps me live this kind of life. And the purpose of day one is not just to clean up, it is also having an hands-on exercise that takes you out of your daily routine, clearing space in your mind as well, which will give you a bird's eye view into your life. Because we would often get so invested in the nitty-gritty details and the small formalities of our lives, we lose the bird's eye view, we lose the greater picture of why we started, why we're doing this, and the whole direction that we're going towards. Sometimes that gets lost, and these 2 to 3 hours of cleaning gets me good dedicated time to think about my goals, think about my life, and set sort of an idea of what do I want to do for the next 3 months. On day 2, you need to find a way to dump your brain. You can either use your iPad or just a piece of paper with a pen and pencil and start writing whatever comes to your brain. Like literally, do not discriminate and do not filter anything, whatever comes to your mind, because in day 1 you have gotten an idea of where we stand in our life, where we want to go, and what is the general direction that we want to take to reach our goals. Now, think about those goals, and whatever that comes to your mind, write them down. You want to make as much free space in your brain as possible, because we all know the human brain is phenomenal at coming up with great ideas, but it is not so good at retaining them. And this habit of writing down your thoughts and ideas is not just a day 2 thing. I have been doing this for years now, which keeps all of my ideas organized in one place, and it also clears up new space in my mind so I can come up with newer ideas. See, the major problem is that you try to understand your thoughts, ideate your next actions, validate your current actions while focusing on the task in hand, all at the same time. No wonder you cannot focus on your work and you can get no work done. The purpose of this 7-day exercise is to dedicate 1 day with each of those tasks without any overlaps. Day 3, prioritize. Take your iPad or a piece of paper and write down what are the things that uses your energy throughout the day. Be very careful that we are not trying to optimize for time, because all of your time might not be in your control, but your energy definitely is. And I know this step seems very trivial, you might think this is too boring, but please take your time and note these things down, and you would often miss something that is actually draining your energy. That is why I recommend carrying this paper or your iPad throughout your day and actually experience a whole day with your iPad by the side and write down all the things that are taking your energy. On step 4, we start by underlining only the domains that we are willing to improve over the next 3 to 6 months. It can be your marks, can be your income, or your bench press PR. Next, what you need to do is to put them on a tier list, or at least write what tier they are currently in. I use S tier for extraordinary or very satisfactory, A for satisfactory, B for okayish, 3 for okay manageable, and D for absolutely horrible. And once I have assigned tiers to all the domains that I want to improve, any domain that is not either an S or an A, I would also write down what are the things that I can achieve in the next 3 to 6 months that can make that domain into an A, at least an A. In this point also, it is very important to not think too much about it, because the more time you spend it, your decisions will be more fear-induced and more biased. So once you're done with this, we can move on to the next step. Now this is probably the hardest part of the puzzle. This is when you realize you cannot have it all. You cannot be locked in to multiple things simultaneously. For the next 3 to 6 months, you have to pick one thing, one singular thing, and go all in. Now, I'm not telling you to abandon everything else. I am telling you to put everything else on maintenance. For example, if academics is not the first priority for the next 3 months and studying 1 hour a day can keep your grades more or less the same, you study only 1 hour a day and put studies on maintenance. Even in the current season of my life, for the next 6 months, I am more focused on finances rather than anything else. So, gym is on maintenance, and the extra time that I'm getting out of this can be actually used to grow the main domain of my life, the target domain for the next 6 months. So at the end of step 5, we have our target domain and a few other domains to run on maintenance. Now this is the step where we are going to talk about time management for the first time. If you are self-employed like me, your whole day is your time playground, but if you are going to college or if you are working a job, you have much lesser time to play with, which will not be a problem. Please get rid of things that are not giving you any ROI in the short term, at least temporarily. Like stop watching random news, no point sitting through a pointless meeting, and watch highlights instead of the whole cricket match, unless Virat Kohli is batting, of course. Now whatever time you have left with you, divide that into 2 to 3 different chunks. What are the main purpose of this chunks of 1 to 3 hours of time? Because we want to give undivided attention to the main focus of this season of our life. We don't want to give it 30 minutes now, 30 minutes in the evening and 30 minutes at night. We want to give it 1.5 hours in one stretch, because flow state is a state of mind when you can get hyper productive, you lose the flow of time. You want to get into that stage and you will realize that you can get 10x more done in the same amount of time. To get to flow state, you need a larger block of time. You cannot enter flow state and leave it in like 30 minutes. That is why I prefer time blocking my day. This part cannot be really done well on paper. That is why I recommend using Akiflow. Next, you want to create projects, which will basically be domains that you are caring about. Creating tasks in Akiflow is also very simple, which automatically gets assigned to the most relevant project using the new Akiflow AI. It also has a super powerful command bar which can be accessed with a simple keyboard shortcut. The biggest chunk of time for the highest priority domain and the rest for the lower ones. And if you cannot find time to do something, it is not important. You can use the ritual feature and detailed statistics to understand how your productivity works, because that is a very important thing to understand. Are your mornings more productive? Are your nights more productive? Which day of the week are you more productive? That way you can pre-schedule your work much better. And just in case all that felt a little too technical, you can get on a free one-on-one onboarding call with the official Akiflow team. Thanks a lot to Akiflow for making today's video possible. And at the end of step 6, we are very close to achieving optimum clarity in our daily work. I have been working for 10 hours every single day for the last 7 years. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Therefore, the next step is to chalk out quantifiable actions, quantifiable steps that can be repeated every single day. What you need to do is, for the highest priority domain, write down the maximum of 3 habits, 3 tasks, 3 small chunks of work that you can do every single day, and choose this work very wisely, because these are going to be the building blocks of whatever dream that you're trying to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months. Now this is a very serious part, and 90% of you guys are going to fail right here. You have to execute and mindlessly execute whatever you have written over the last 7 days for the next 3 months. Because if you can't follow the rules written for your life, someone else will write them for you. Cheers.